Okay, so we are back to my book and we are done with number 4. So we have, is it 1? No. Is it 2? Yes. Okay, so number 2 is not every download you get you're supposed to share with the world, especially on social media. You know I can't sit still. Oh, my knees. You understand? This is a very serious one. I have to sit up for this one. Not every download that you get from your spirit squad belongs to everyone else. There are times that you are going to get information that you are to keep quiet. You are going to get information that the spirit just wants you to execute and to understand. Not everything that you are being taught or told should be posted. I am not telling you what to do. I am telling you what the Spirit wants me to tell you. And that's what the Spirit wants me to tell you. If you're watching this video, be mindful of what you post. Everything does not need to be posted. Does that make sense? Now, I've always been the type of person, I love teaching. I've always been that way ever since I was little. And when I would get information, I would want to tell everyone. So this was something I had to learn at an early age. Everything that you see, everything that you're told does not need to be repeated. You keep things silent. You do not repeat stuff. Now, when you get information, like when I get information, I muscle test and I'm like, can I repeat this? And they're like, yes. And for a very long time, I wasn't allowed to tell anybody anything. For a very long time, I wasn't able to tell. I've been doing this whole stuff for about 8 years now. I think it's still about 8 years now. And is it 9? No, it's 8 years. I've been doing it for 8 years. And I just started really talking about it in the last year and a half. In the last year and a half is when I started talking about it, and I wasn't like allowed to tell too many people about it. My children weren't allowed to tell anybody about it. It was a very nucleus covered operation. It was crazy. And I understand why it was done that way, because the information that I was getting, one, had to be tested. I had to test it. That was the first thing. When I was young in the spirit, I would just repeat stuff without testing it first. And when I got older, I was like, there is no more preaching something or saying something to someone and you don't practice like you preach it. You understand? Because I was around too many people that were doing that and it looked ugly and no one was being helped. No one was being helped because saying something, giving advice, giving comfort to someone about something that you've never experienced it's challenging, because I've done it. I've comforted people in situations I really don't understand. I understand hurt. So I understand that you're hurt and I understand that you need someone to be there for you. But the physical pain of or understanding of it, I didn't have it. So there was still pieces missing and that person couldn't get everything from me. Not all healers are meant to heal the entire thing. Does that make sense? Like when you come to me for energy clearing or counseling or anything, there's a part for me to play to help you. I'm not supposed to fix the whole thing. Does that make sense? I don't clear one thing and your whole life after 60 years or 75 years is miraculously put together. That doesn't work that way, darling. It doesn't work that way. I'm so sorry. Just like if you go to a doctor, they can treat that symptom, but they can't fix the whole thing because they're not looking at the whole thing. They're just looking at why your back hurts. but they don't understand your back hurts because you were unsupported as a mom, and now you just have that energy stuck there. And even when I clear it, does that make sense? Even when I clear that out, if you go back to the same people who take you for granted, and you it's going to go right back where it was with the restore code inside. You understand? It's a process, and the only person that can keep the process moving between healers and people who are helping you is you. You have to show up for you, because if you don't show up for you, no matter how gifted I am, you won't get healed the way you need to be healed. Does that make sense? That was for someone specific. I know we got way off topic with that one, but not, I mean, that download was obviously supposed to be talked about. But yeah, not every download should be broadcasted. Should be broadcasted. Not every download should be broadcasted. Not everything that you're told should be broadcasted. Use discretion and muscle test to see if that's something that you need to do, because if not, you will put your data in danger. And because you'll think, because it's something that's like in the now, or something, it'll push out something that's not tested. You understand? My stuff has been tested. I live this. This isn't something that it's like I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna tell them this. No, have to, most of the stuff I know because I went through it. Does that make sense? So it's like, it's going to take time. This is for someone that I know I needed to know this at one point. There's going to be a time when they're going to uncover you. You're going to be uncovered. You might not be uncovered completely. They have to, like for me, they're taking the cover off slowly. It's coming off slowly because I can feel it. I'm talking about stuff that I never in my life thought they were going to allow me to talk about. I am seeing myself do things I never thought I was going to do. So it's like I see them taking the cloth or the covering off slowly, because if they remove it quickly, it'll shock your nervous system. It would tear up my nervous system if they gave me everything that I'm supposed to have right now, because I'm not prepared for it. I'm not prepared for it. I am preparing for it. I am putting my buckets together. I'm putting where everything, so when the rain falls, all the buckets get full. Does that make sense? But if you just got one bucket and you're just toiling away at that bucket, when the rain falls, you're gonna waste it all over everything else. You put all the buckets. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. Don't get it twisted. It's exhausting, but you need to put your buckets out so that when the rain falls, you get wet and all your buckets get full. Does that make sense? But yeah, so I think that's it. Nope, it is not. See, I think that's it. Nope, that's not it. All right, so they have more. I don't know what it is. Is there something you want to talk about? Yes. Is there something you want me to talk about regarding, like, about the downloads? Be careful. Just be careful with and even be careful testing. That's what they want me to talk. Be careful. See what I mean? Be careful. Just so bossy. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful testing too, because you're a person. You know. Be careful doing the test and trying stuff. Um, like I always tell you, muscle test to make sure that that's something that you want to do and something that you should be doing, because sometimes, I know for me, I tested a theory before I secured certain things, and my brain went ape shit. Yeah, does that make sense? It was just like, oh my god, I'm so tired. Like I kind of put the cart before the horse. I cleared before I strengthened my body, right? And when you don't strengthen your body and you start clearing, I was exhausted because I was wide open, and my body wasn't strong enough to sustain it. And then on top of it, I didn't put parameters in place for other people's energy to keep coming on top of me. So it was like that year was rough. That year was really rough. and I was overwhelmed. My body was, my nervous system was shot, and it was coming in from all directions, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. So this energy thing, please, somebody said that to me once, and I was like, okay, didn't think anything of it, but he was 100% right. I was just like, yeah, I should have paid more attention to, like, everybody wants to get downloads, everybody wants to be told, and everybody wants to know and stuff like that, but it's not something that is for the weak. It is not something for people who cannot regulate it, or like organize it, or like manage it. Because especially if you just open the gate, like I just opened it and it just like poured in, and I was, at one point I was like, yo, I cannot have any more downloads right now, because I was just getting downloads. I have like books of stuff that I was just writing stuff out, and then what started to happen was I kept forgetting the knowledge. I just because it kept pouring in so fast, and I wasn't teaching it. Does that make sense? I wasn't teaching it at the time. I wasn't even having enough time to test it. It was just coming in so fast. And I was just like, oh, and I had to be like, stop. Like I had, so that's for someone specific. If the downloads are coming in really fast, the the spirit, I don't know what happened. The spirit is subject to the prophet. Does that make sense? I tell that's the first thing I tell all my students. The spirit is subject to the prophet. You are the one who controls the spirit. The spirit does not control you. If it is going too fast and too many people are speaking at once, you tell everybody to stop. You tell everybody to stop. You are in full control of this. You're in full control. Honestly, sometimes that's the problem. You're also in full control of this. So if you tell everybody to stop and forget to tell everybody to move, you're gonna be like, I don't understand, but I don't understand why I don't get no downloads. You don't get no downloads because you didn't tell them to start back giving you downloads. You know how I know this? I did that. I did that. I was like, yo, what the fuck? And they were like, hello. They were like, you told us not to tell you anything. And I was like, oh, you're right. So that's what is about that, but the spirit is subject to the prophet. So if it's too fast, too much, that's what I did. I was like, oh, we gotta stop. We gotta stop. I gotta organize this information first. I gotta test this information. I gotta do this first, and then we can get back to that. And that's what I've been doing. I've been doing that. And it's like, because depending on what your mission is, you get a lot of information. You get a lot of information. Not all the information is supposed to be shared. The information, and when I say the information is not supposed to be shared, I'm talking about publicly. Does that make sense? There, from what I'm understanding, there are tribes still and before that would sit around a fire and they would tell stories and they would pass down traditions. That's what those are for. Does that make sense? Because there are certain downloads that I get that I only tell my children. I can only tell my children. My children and whoever is at that degree that is outside of 3 boys. Does that make sense? Because there are certain traditions for certain clans, tribes, that is passed down amongst that tribe and that clan. Some of that, we got to get back to that. I'm not saying to separate knowledge and stuff like that. I'm not saying to gatekeep or anything like that. But there are certain things that are only for that line. It is not for everyone. So you have to keep it within that line. And honestly, there are some people within the line that you cannot tell this to, because they're going to go outside and public and make it public. Does that make sense? We got to go back to little like groups sometimes. Everything doesn't have to be everybody. You understand? This is not for everybody. It's not always for everybody. Sometimes you got to just keep it within the construction of the family, and that's it. Does that make sense? That's for someone specific. Is that the last one? That was the last one. So we're going to wrap this up. Thank you for watching. Stay up, stay blessed. Deuces and out.